The stage is set, lights are bright, history's on the line. It's the NBA Finals, and nobody saw this coming. The Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers are about to battle for the Larry O'Brien Trophy in a matchup that's young, hungry, and full of surprises. Two teams, 0 rings, everything to prove. Let's dive into what could be one of the most unexpected and exciting finals in recent memories. Kyron,
Whoa.
we want to talk
Whoa.
about.
I like where you're going with that.
Hey man,
I like
we
where you're
gotta
going
talk
with
about
that.
this because hey, this is absolutely exciting. We got a finals that no one could have predicted, and we want to ask this question: who do you think has the edge going into the finals? OKC, Indiana Pacers. I mean, we kind of thought that OKC.
How can
would
you say
be there.
anything else but the OKC? OKC is locked, stocked, and ready to win a title, man. It's going to be hard for the Pacers to compete, but if there is one team actually that can, I think, give, if everything does work out well and they play their best basketball, the Pacers, the way they attack defensively, very similar to like OKC in terms of these guys' defense dictating a lot of games. And the way the Pacers turned it up on the Knicks, you saw, again, whether it's Neymar, whether it was Connell, whether it was Halliburton, whether it's Siakam, all these guys, just
A lot of players.
Naismith, just up in you. Man, it might not be what everyone loves, but I love me some defense. I love me some aggression. I love me some competitive greatness. So I'm looking forward to this finals, man. And again, we're gonna probably be watching the ascent of a superstar. And I say, once he wins that title, a superstar, I will say Shea is stepping into that.
Okay.
But again, I know we'll get there.
So that's a good point, and I'm thinking that Shea is ready for this moment. He's absolutely proven the MVP of this year, proven that he is deserving. But a lot of people will say that it's a game or it's a finals that has it's consisted of two teams that have great supporting casts. Now, the Indiana Pacers, of course, supporting cast, great. Picked up the slack when Tyrese Halliburton has disappeared slightly in some games. Now, similarly with OKC, they have a tight group of people, tight group of players, and that bench shows up for them night in and night out. Is this somewhat a finals that is going to come down to whose bench is able to sustain and keep the team afloat?
It very might well come down to that, because both of these teams do actually rely fairly heavily on their additional, or their others, right, as Shaq would say. And they both have pretty good others.
Others, that's what it's all about.
OKC's better than Pacers, but
You think so?
yeah, man.
What makes you think that? Because
and again, it's not names. It's not names.
It's not
just
about
games.
names. Who has the names?
It's the game.
There are no names in this game. In this game, in this finals, there are no names.
There is some names. Let's not go that far.
Now we talk about Spicy P, Pascal.
There's no
Siakam.
superstars. There's no superstar in this.
And then
finals.
we're talking about, if you're not a superstar, like who's selling sneakers in the finals?
Mm-hmm.
Who's selling big numbers in jerseys in the finals?
But this is one step
and
one part of becoming a superstar, and both Halliburton and SGA, excuse me, SKG. Both of them have an opportunity to take a huge step towards being able to claim that status. And again, SGA is a lot closer to that status. Again, MVP, league leader in scoring. Again, bringing his team to a finals now, and the opportunity to win a finals MVP. There's a lot of checks he can knock off a lot of the important checks in this run.
Not like you, I don't know like you, but I'm going to tell you, I got OKC taking the finals. However, there is a slight chance that Indiana could pull this off. They have the experienced coach, a championship coach. They have experience in the locker room. Pascal is a championship player.
Yep.
Could they pull off this upset? I mean, could it be a finals based on coaching, like the experience? Because Carlisle has proven to be able to.
And those are the puncher chance that Indiana has, right? And Indiana has more of a puncher's chance. Again, you alluded to the coaching, the ability to make those adjustments, to maybe find certain weaknesses in OKC's, whether it's offense, defense, to exploit. Yeah, and that will be a potential route to an Indiana upset.
Oh, okay. Well, are there anything else that you can see that might give Indiana the advantage? Like
advantage again, they're a team that they attack defensively. They're able to create and a pace, and Pascal's the best ski guy, leak guy in the league.
100%.
He's the best at it. And you got a guy like Halliburton, you got TJ. They always have a point guard, multiple point guards usually on the court. So that movement and if everything goes right, the Pacers could make this a very, very interesting series. I'll say that.
Let's talk.
Not expecting them to win.
Let's talk X factors. Who's the players that nobody's talking about that could possibly change the series? Or
I don't know if we're gonna say nobody's talking about, but you make it to a finals. Like again, if you're one of the starters in terms of basketball, you're being talked about.
We're talking about.
But in terms of impact on a series for the Pacers, I can see Naismith.
Okay.
Like again, just being huge defensively because he's
Naismith is a big player.
Naismith, he's gonna have a battle on his hands, whether he's going after SGA, Williams, whatever his task is in the series, he's gonna be called upon. So he's obviously gonna be somebody that's talked about and potentially have a huge impact on this series.
I think the player that's going to have the biggest impact, the X factor, Turner. I mean, he's going to have the task of covering the paint. Two big centers, Chet and Hartenstein. SGA is going to be killing that mid range.
It's gonna be interesting to see
if
Turner.
His defense. I'm talking about not necessarily his offensive play. I'm talking about his defensive.
Yes.
His defense is going to dictate how the series is going to turn. I think if he can create such a presence,
he doesn't.
But if he can do that, he has the size.
I
think
there's a potential for.
If he can,
but he doesn't
pull out a Shaq Diesel series.
I think
it can happen.
Potentially get very.
You remember back
very,
in the day
very
when
happy in this
players
series.
used to come to Toronto and they used to see Jose Calderon. You know, we can't even put the D in there because he doesn't have any D. They used to say my night tonight. If Turner could just have that mentality, these are two guys. They're younger guys. Let me just enforce my will upon them and protect the glass.
It's going to be important for him to have a big series. Again, if like I said, if everything goes right, like Turner's playing great basketball, and Halliburton is proving to be the potential superstar that some people believe he is.
You said you put him in superstar category. You just
no. I'm just saying in terms of path, like a guy who's on a path to potentially getting there.
100%.
All right, not saying he is right now. No. But one of those guys.
All right. Well, I'll say this: if Halliburton's able to win a title this year, I'm putting in the superstar category, simply because he would have been able to. He has to.
No,
he has to.
He's on the path. He's on the path. It's clear that he's on that path.
Most likely, if they win the title, he's going to get the MVP.
You can't call him that right now. No. And again,
if they win the title, you're not going to give him. Are you going to give?
I'm not saying he's a superstar.
If they win the
title,
say
he had a hell of a run.
He's not a superstar if they win a title?
No, he's on the verge.
All right, well.
He's on the verge.
I guess we're going to piggyback off this topic then, because of course we have OKC and Pacers in the finals.
Yeah.
You got OKC winning it. I got OKC winning it.
Yeah.
Possible upset that Indiana could win. Factors, experience,
I
factors.
think I just talk on more of them giving a good series.
Okay, let's
I-
talk about them
I
giving
just
more
hope
series.
again. Start just as a basketball fan, you want a good series, right?
And I think that's what we're
And
playing.
I
I think we're going to get a good
I think
series.
we're gonna get one. I think we will. It might end up being 4-2, but a good series, right?
Yeah,
So
a good series wouldn't be 4-2. Well, 6 games, yeah,
could
maybe.
potentially, right?
So now
Doesn't
you
look that tight, but within the different games, yeah, I think we can get some special stuff.
we were talking earlier, just recently about superstars.
Oh yeah, because like, obviously, just like OKC and Pacers playing, there's two guys potentially able to become superstars, right? SGA for sure. If he wins the title and MVP, he's superstar.
So I wanna.
Or
So
he's walking into that status.
so you're gonna give SGA superstar status if he wins the title,
Yeah.
but you won't give Tyrese Halliburton the status
No,
of winning superstar.
it's not the same.
But let me tell you,
SGA's coming off of MVP season, talking about a guy who's leading like
but here's where and
first team, All Star, and then again, if he wins the title and a playoff MVP, Finals MVP, that's a hell of a year.
okay.
That is a hell of a year.
I'm not going to deny you that it's not a hell of a year, and I'm not even going to deny you the fact that fine, he is going to be superstar status at that point. But if Tyrese Halliburton is able to overcome that person that you're saying is going to be a superstar once crowned,
No, but winning
champion,
the title and is up the finishing touches to be for him to have that claim.
So then-
if he doesn't get that, it's not that Halliburton is not overcoming a guy who is a superstar. He's overcoming a guy who's battling to be one. They're a little different.
So and here
Knocking down the legend.
here's where I'm going to challenge you.
Right.
Okay,
He's called the legend killer.
Okay.
Not the potential legend killer. No.
Well,
It's the legend killer.
ladies and gentlemen, he
You gotta
always
be a
does
legend
it.
first.
So he's going
You
to
gotta
only
be a
give
legend
him
first.
Well, hey, guess what?
And he ain't there yet.
Damian Lillard,
Oh gosh.
James Harden,
Okay.
Westbrook,
Mm-hmm.
all top 75 greatest,
Okay.
right? Are they deserving to be there? Maybe. So what I'm trying to say is this. If Halliburton knocks off SGA,
Okay.
I'm going to give him superstar status.
Wow.
Simply because he's done something that no one is ever saying that he could do.
Mm-hmm.
He is potentially one of the last true point guards out there that is more focused on the team than himself. You know, Chris Paul, of course, and then Halliburton. I don't see anyone else that fits that mold. Most point guards are now scoring point guards right now. Let's be real. So
Yeah, they tend to be.
now, I'm not only am I talking about Halliburton becoming a superstar. Let's talk about the superstars that are in the league today.
Okay.
Okay,
So first thing first, right? Because every time you see these conversations,
Right.
no one simply too often they don't lay out the qualifications for said superstar. Simple and plain. Lay out what qualifies a superstar for you.
title.
That's the only thing, or what?
No,
Okay.
that's one of the requirements.
Okay.
Title,
Yeah.
MVP, able, if you're a player that's maybe not always recognized as having accolades, but you're able to always win, that's a superstar. Like, would you consider Jimmy Butler a superstar? Right? He always finds a way somehow to win or gets his team to the next level. Couldn't get it done.
I was just waiting for you because
Couldn't get it done. No,
this is the most hype I've ever seen from backs on a guy who has no title.
No.
The first thing you said was title. Then to turn around and to try to pump up something without the first thing that you called for.
But I was.
I don't get it.
I was
I'm out.
Charles Barkley superstar. No titles. Ewing superstar, no titles. You know, you got some.
This is your criteria. Don't
No,
start
no.
looking
I'm
up
just
at me
saying.
like I said.
If you have a title that can put you in that into that category, if you have MVP that can put you in
so
that
you can be a
category,
superstar without a title,
you can definitely be a superstar
without an
with a title.
MVP.
You can be a superstar with an MVP. Yeah,
Without an MVP.
I think politics play a big role into MVP. So yeah, like
Okay.
right now.
So what are you so super at? If you're
So no, but because think about
you haven't won a title,
All right.
you haven't won an MVP.
Would you have said that Joel Embiid was a superstar before his MVP, and he only got that MVP barely by the skin of his teeth? But would you have said he was a superstar before he got that MVP?
a superstar?
Come on, don't even do that. A superstar, yes.
Again, this is your criteria. I asked you for
All right.
your criteria,
No.
not my criteria.
All right.
Your criteria. You're fighting me about your own criteria.
You asked me
I
a
don't
question.
get it.
Do you
Does
have to?
everyone get it?
Do
I don't get it.
Do you have to have an MVP to be a superstar? And I said, not necessarily. Right? You don't necessarily have to be an MVP to be a superstar.
You don't gotta fight me on your criteria.
But
We're not talking about my criteria. We're talking about yours.
But it'd be nice. Like Kobe only got one MVP.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But you would have anointed Kobe a superstar far before he got his MVP. Right? Nash got 2 MVPs
Okay.
back to back.
Yes.
You wouldn't put Nash in superstar category, would you?
What are you talking about?
Is Nash Steve
Why are you
Nash a
asking?
superstar?
I'm asking all I asked you.
see?
If we can get back to the original question,
It's tainted.
What do you qualify? What fits for you a superstar? That's all I asked.
Okay.
I didn't ask to get attacked
For me,
or bashed.
no. Title, yes.
Okay.
MVP, yes.
Okay. This is must.
Must.
Okay.
MVP title, yes. MVP, yes.
Yes.
Lead the league in some kind of category, in offensive category,
Okay.
or have and have awards in multiple awards in some kind of
First team All
capacity.
NBA guy or
First
must
team
or-
All NBA,
or
NBA
just-
or second,
Okay.
possibly Olympic selection, Olympic gold. I don't know. What do you want to say?
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna say. Yeah.
Okay.
And right now, if you ask me, what are the players today's NBA right now, currently speaking, who are superstars?
Yes.
We got a few. LeBron,
Got a few. Okay. I agree.
Curry,
Agree.
KD,
Agree.
Joker,
Agree.
Giannis.
Agree.
I think that's it. I think that's it. Superstars.
That's what I believe.
That's it.
That's what I believe right there. That those 5.
You know what?
Agree.
I'm gonna add one more.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
think
borderline.
I think there's.
It's a borderline.
I think.
But I want to ask you.
one.
There's one that's a borderline, and I want to get your opinion on it.
Two maybe.
So I'm gonna put Kawhi in that list.
He was one of the 2 guys I was thinking. I was thinking him and Jason Tatum.
I can't put Tatum there.
Who could make an argument for
How?
superstar status?
There's no MVP.
Again, I didn't say in your world. I said in
your world.
If you wanted to make a guy who could make an argument, Kawhi is the first guy I would say could make an argument. Problem, right? Like you said, no MVP, right?
Finals MVP.
Okay, cool.
The most important MVP. I'll give him a Finals MVP.
Okay.
Tatum doesn't
didn't
have
have
a
the
league
final.
MVP or Finals MVP.
Fair.
Questionable. And when it most counted, you were nowhere to be found. JB took it over. So
I lean more towards he's on the verge, and I think depending on how he comes back from his injury, I think he's a guy that again can get into that status. SGA again, depending on how things go over the next week or two, couple of weeks, we'll see how if he elevates in that, because he can quickly get into that. I think he's realistically the next guy in.
You know what? SGA will be the next guy in if they win.
Of course,
they lose, you're gonna say
Halliburton's not in if they win.
Why?
He's not. Where's the MVP? Like you said,
It would have been a Finals MVP.
how do you know Pascal's good to win it?
You know it's Hallie's game.
Pascal. What if Pascal wins it? Pascal already won one MVP.
Then you anoint Pascal MVP superstar because that'd be 2 titles. One where he was a solid role player, and the second one where he was an MVP. Does he get anointed MVP?
No, but okay, for you, that's your thing. I have a different step for superstar status. My credentials are different because there's an element.
What are you talking about?
Again, you gotta have the name, the game, the results, right? So the Pascal problem is the name.
You don't like the name.
It's the name.
What's wrong with the name?
One element for me, like, again, I agree with most of the layouts. Like
Racist.
You need some results, right? You need results. You need MVPs. You need league MVPs, finals MVPs.
How do you change your story? Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this. Jason Tatum has no MVP, and he made a
guy that couldn't make an argument.
But he has nothing.
But then that's why he
only
comes
a title
short, and that's why I said he's not a superstar.
Okay,
that's my point.
So he's not a superstar.
I said guys who can make the argument to come into it, and that's why we were talking about Kawhi, right? And Kawhi's problem is again.
Why is not Kawhi a superstar? Number one, he's beaten the number one player in the NBA. He
has the results. Yes, he does.
And when healthy, he's a killer.
Unfortunately, it is that lack of availability.
So let me ask you this.
But we'll see once he's available.
So I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to ask you this question.
Yes.
Has KD produced anything much more than Kawhi?
What are you talking about?
KD does not make the playoffs with a $600 million roster.
MVP, league MVP, right?
Okay.
He has final MVP.
Right.
He has multiple championships, scoring titles. Come on. What are you talking about?
KD
and name recognition.
KD ran to a team
again. You're
gonna discredit this.
You're a superstar. This is
come on.
My components of superstar. One element also is the name recognition. Can I go to my mom, my sister, and ask this person, hey, you know who KD is? And if that person is able to tell you, there's an element of superstar there that reaches outside of just the game. It reaches beyond that to just
that's fair.
Almost anyone can.
That's fair.
That's why you could say, if I go to somebody, hey mom, you know Kobe? Oh yeah, Kobe Bryant. Yes, name, boom, one namers, right?
So
Shaq,
if
boom,
your mom can name names, that's a superstar.
An element. That's an element of a superstar.
Come on,
that someone who doesn't follow basketball knows who this person is. There's an element of that because that now it is super. You're beyond, not just simply, oh, I'm a good basketball player. You're talking about a superstar.
Okay.
There's an element of name recognition that to me applies. I'm not saying you can just have name like, oh, Lonzo Ball, or people know him from YouTube or whatever. And no, see, that's not enough. You have name, where's your game, and where's your results?
Okay, well, I agree to you to some extent that you got to have some kind of a name.
Superstar.
But if you're winning a title, you got a name. People around the world are going to hear you. So are you telling me that Spicy P's name is not comparable to some of these great players that you're calling? Like right now, Spicy P, we're all talking about him. On every network, Spicy P. Larry O'Brien Trophy, Larry Bird, MVP
you know what?
holder, Spicy P. We're all talking about him.
Hey,
and you want to discredit
win a finals MVP? Hey, you start crafting out a resume that can get your name in some talks.
Andre Iguodala?
What?
Finals MVP.
Yes.
Jersey retired.
Okay. But again, that alone is not enough to create a superstar status.
Everyone knows his name. Iggy?
No.
Iggy?
Where's the rest of the game? Like, you can have a series that's special, yeah. That doesn't make you a superstar.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, right now as it stands, you are trying to discredit Tyrese Halliburton of not becoming a superstar once if he not wins this title.
Yeah.
If they win the title, I'm sorry to tell you, he does become a superstar.
Oh, you're one of these victims to the.
Okay.
Hey, just do. Hey, here we go. Instant superstar.
I'm
No
not saying-
resume building.
I'm not.
No. One shot doesn't make you a superstar.
I'm not.
Now your
I'm
ability
not-
to come
I'm-
back and show us now again.
I'm not saying-
Halliburton has work to do.
Yeah.
And winning this title, and again, who knows if he even is the MVP as well. But if he pulls off an MVP and a title, hey,
You're gonna give.
welcome to the conversation.
You're gonna give him the MVP.
He's.
You're gonna give him superstar status.
I'm not giving him superstar status. I'm saying welcome to the conversation.
Is Tyrese Halliburton looked at a better player as James Harden if he wins a title?
No, James Harden had better individual stats career. Yeah, come on. But again, MVP.
I'm asking you a question right now. You're stuttering right now. So let's be clear on what we're talking about. If Tyrese Halliburton,
he'll be on track to have a better career than James Harden. Hey.
If he wins a title, is he better than Westbrook?
No, these are top 75 players. And again, he's in the earlier
If
end
he
of
wins
his
a
career,
title,
right?
if he's
So,
better than Damian Lillard,
but he's not on track to beat
I'm
to
asking you a
perform better offensive stats and stuff than these guys. These are Hall of Famers in terms of their ability.
if Tyrese wins a title,
what do
Like
you
you-
value? What do you value? Right.
so I'm going to ask you this: you would
'Cause
here's where he's hypocritical. Now look at this. If
Harden won
if-
MVP, so many All Stars.
Come on.
Come on. Like
and when
there's
it
a certain
came to
amount of-
when it really matters in the playoffs, what would you say about Harden?
he comes up short. And again, that his
Does
hole
that
in
not
his
fact?
game.
So you're factoring his
course it
career
is.
on a regular season basis.
No, just
a
on
regular-
accolades. If you're talking about just accolades and stuff, Halliburton probably won't have the accolades that James Harden had by the end of his career.
But what if he holds the Finals MVP, the biggest accolade? Does he surpass James Harden?
I would rather have his career because you have that Finals and the Finals MVP than Harden's. But again, Harden's had many scoring titles. He's had MVPs. He has.
Regular season, you're talking about.
Some people
see-
are just happy with that. So.
And I know that you
But you're talking about better
value regular
player.
season a lot. I don't.
What are you saying? A better player? Like
Well, even if his career would end on the night that he wins
Better
the player
career?
MVP, when it
being the best player on a championship team is a heck of a career you've had. I don't even.
yeah,
Out,
and
not even
that's
just
something
looking at numbers,
that's
but
something
just
that
in
Harden
reality.
will never do right now in his career. Think about it. Harden will never be the best player on a championship team. Harden won't be the second best player on a championship team. Third or fourth option right now we're looking at. And we're looking at strongly, possibly.
You can't say that for certain. Like
No, you know that
that's
for
a-
certain. We've given him first
second
option.
best player.
We've given him
He could.
second option.
If they find a
We've-
way to win a title next
We've
year,
given
he
him
could
many
potentially be
chances,
second.
and you've seen it. He's 30. How much? 5? Are you still going to say he's going to be a second option on a championship team? Where?
I said it could potentially happen.
D League? That's not right. Chet, everybody knows that James Harden, third, fourth option championship team. And I'm leading more toward fourth at this
Wow.
stage of his career.
Wow, hey, he had some moments in the playoffs this year. I'll give him that. But again, he also had some not so nice moments, right?
So, yeah.
Coming up short, especially Game 7. But man, I wouldn't say in a certainty that he can't be a second guy.
I'm disappointed in James Harden.
or third
I'm
guy.
disappointed in a lot of players that could have found themselves in the position that Halliburton is finding himself in right now, but they just can't capitalize. And if, like I'm saying, we've been on this topic for a very long time now, and I think it's time to end it. But if Halliburton does win this title, I'm sorry, he is a superstar.
I don't agree
Whether
with you.
you